straight white Christian.
No, Jesse, this is the subscribe thing.
Oh, yeah. I need you all to subscribe, support us on Patreon, like us on Facebook, and follow me on Twitter.
Got it.
I have back with me Qasim Rashid. He is a best-selling author, attorney, and executive director of AMI App, a human rights NGO dedicated to international peace and security. Qasim, welcome back to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Jesse. How are you?
All is well. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. The weather's finally getting warm, and that's good. It's been a cold winter.
Yeah.
And it's always good to be in dialogue with people looking to build bridges of understanding and compassion.
That's right. Before we get into some things you've written about, what do you think of the Great White Hope so far? He's been in office for a year and a couple months now. What's your impression of him?
Well, I've always been a believer in upholding justice. And this is something that I've held firm when Obama was in office and what I hold firm when Trump is in office. So, on areas where I think an injustice is being done, I'm going to call it out. I think, unfortunately, there's been a lot of injustices done under this administration that we need to call out. There was one good thing that the president did a couple of days ago. He signed an order prosecuting people who engage in sexual abuse of women. That was a very positive thing. But I think we have a long way to go to live up to the ideals of our Constitution and to uphold justice for all citizens. That's what I strive to try to create.
What has he done so far that you disagree with?
Where do I begin? We have a wide variety of things. One, making it more difficult for people to get health care. Healthcare costs are going up. Two, giving tax cuts to the wealthy at another $1 trillion deficit every single year. Three, we're waging wars, bombing 8 countries that we're not at war with right now. In the last 14 months, our American bombs, paid by American tax dollars, have killed 6,000 Syrian civilians. I find that untenable. Those are 3 main things that I think we need to really reevaluate whether this violates our due process, and I think they all do.
As far as healthcare is concerned, now that he's done this, the cost of healthcare is less now, and I don't know if they made it possible yet, but you can also cross state line and buy health insurance, which is causing the price to go down. When the fallen Messiah was in the White House, Barack Obama, he caused health care to go up for the working class, and a lot of people lost their coverage, and they lost their privilege of being able to hold on to their private doctors. And so the president is making it easier rather than harder for the folks. What is it? Why don't you like the tax cuts? Because now working class people such as myself and others, they're getting more back on their paychecks. They are able to start businesses now as a result of the tax cuts. Why aren't you happy about that?
Well, on the healthcare thing, we'll agree to disagree. The facts are the healthcare has gotten more expensive. On the tax cut side of what I disagree with that is the wealth inequality that it's created. 83% of the tax cuts went to the top 1%. And the corporations, the major multi-billion-dollar corporations that received a tax windfall, rather than passing on that money to the frontline associates, many companies laid off people, and many more corporations bought back their own stock. This was the single largest transfer of wealth from the middle class to the wealthy. And just as importantly, now we're operating at another $1 trillion deficit, and that's projected to continue as long as this plan is in place. So, it's fascinating to me to find people who are deficit hawks, and we're screaming about the exploding deficit, which I was too, but I still am. And those people that were screaming when Obama was in office are now suddenly silent. And so I find that hypocritical and a double standard. What I would rather like to see is rather than giving 83% of the tax cuts to the top 1%, is find ways to give tax cuts to people who are middle class and pay more to our teachers, to our police officers, to our firemen,
Let me ask
to
this.
people who are living on the front line. None of that is happening right now.
If quote unquote rich people get tax cuts, matter of fact, they earn it. They earn their way to the top, whatever the top is.
Sure.
And if they
Sure.
get tax breaks, what it does is allow them to employ other people. It open up job opportunities.
But that's not.
Why
but
are
that's
the
not what's happening,
left?
right?
Why is it
Right.
that the left is jealous? When the left have more money than anyone, really, but why is it they are jealous of the people who are able to work hard, make as much money as they want, and then they get a tax cut, which make it better for the country because more people go to work? Why are you jealous of that?
So Jesse, I mean, let's talk in facts, not emotions. This is not about jealousy. This is about the fact that 1 in 6 Americans are going to bed hungry every night because there's not enough food support for for lower income workers. This is about the fact that people who are getting the top 1% that got 83% of the tax cuts aren't employing more people. In fact, unemployment and job growth has slowed down under this administration as compared to the previous administration. This is about the fact there's a very important index that a lot of people don't know about. It's called the Gini index. And what this measures is the gap between the wealthy and the poor. And this gap right now is as wide as it was when it was right before the Great Depression in 1929. That's how risky it is.
Whose fault is it that whose fault is it that quote unquote poor people exist? Who's to blame for that?
We are. I mean, you know, I'm not a Christian, but I love Jesus, and as far as I know, we're all taught that we are our brother's keeper. And when we see wealth inequality getting to a point
Whose
that it
fault
was
is
at the
it
Great
that
Depression,
whose fault is it that so-called poor people exist? Whose fault is it?
it's the fault of Republicans and Democrats.
How is it
I'm
the
not going to
fault of
play.
Republicans and Democrats? It's neither one of those faults.
No, it's both their fault because those are the two major parties running our government, and right now both parties have failed to create a justice-based economic system where the wealthy are able to enjoy their wealth but not exploit their wealth at the expense of the poor.
What's a
And so I'm not going to sit here.
What's a justice-based
Jesse, let me be clear.
economic system?
I'm not going to come on your show and bash Republicans, and I'm not going to come on your show and praise Democrats because both parties have failed. Both parties have done some good things, but both parties have also failed.
What is
and if we're going to come
justice-
together as a country, if we're going to come together as a country and solve this issue, it's not going to happen by pointing the finger of whose fault is it. It's going to be by recognizing that collectively our leadership has failed, and we need to work together because while you and I are pointing the finger, we got 1 in 6 Americans, our neighbors.
Let me ask
1 in
this.
6 of our
What
neighbors
is
struggling
what's
with
a
it.
justice-based economic system? What does that mean?
Well, I think what it means is we create an environment where, at the very minimum, those people who are lower income are able to earn a living wage, a wage that doesn't keep them under the poverty line. So right now, so a minimum wage of $7 an hour, when that as a full-time job doesn't even afford a basic apartment in most cities, is inexcusable. A justice-based system means that companies like Walmart, that are worth billions and billions of dollars, are being subsidized by the federal government. Each store is being subsidized about $500,000 a month because they don't pay their employees enough. And so these employees, despite working full-time jobs, then have to apply for welfare benefits. And now our tax dollars are going to pay for welfare when if we simply required these companies to pay their employees more,
That's amazing.
then the free market would allow them to have a living wage, and we could spend that tax revenue on other things. We could pay teachers more.
Are you a
we
socialist?
Could pay firefighters
Kasum,
more. We could pay police officers more.
Are you a socialist?
No, I'm not a socialist. No, I believe in capitalism. I believe in a free market, but I also believe
But it doesn't
that the
sound
right
like
to
it.
basic food. I believe. Let me finish answering your question. I believe that the right to basic food is a human right. I believe that the right to basic health care is a human right.
But
I
you're
believe that the
wrong
right
about
to
those things. You're wrong.
well,
You're
you
absolutely
asked me what I
100%
believe,
wrong.
and I'm telling you what I believe. You can't tell me my belief. What I believe is wrong.
But you say you're not
You
a
can disagree.
socialist. You say you're not a socialist, but the things you are promoting is socialism
Is
or
providing free
socialism.
food is providing food to people who are hungry socialism? In that case, Jesus
Providing
Christ,
free
by your
food.
definition, is a socialist. So then, do you not believe
Well,
in the
Jesus
ideals
was
that
not
Jesus
a
Christ taught?
socialist. Jesus was not a socialist,
Did
but
Jesus feed people for free?
providing free food is socialism.
Okay, so then by your definition, Jesus, who fed 500 for free, was a socialist.
No. Qasim, are you happy as I am that the Great White Hope is destroying ISIS in Iraq and Syria? And now they've almost got rid of them in Iraq, and they're cleaning them out in Syria. Are you as happy as I am about that?
I don't know how happy you are.
I'm
What I can
overjoyed.
tell you, what I can tell you is that Daesh is a terrorist organization, and I want to see them eradicated, and I want to ensure we recognize that they were created due to our unauthorized and illegal invasion of Iraq that has killed up to 1 million civilians. No, I'm not happy that 1 million civilians have died. I am happy
No.
that Daesh is on the decline, and I hope to see them gone very soon. Yes.
So, for those who don't know, Daesh is another name for ISIS.
Yes.
I want to ask, you wrote the book, Talk to Me, changing the
That's correct.
narrative on race, religion, and education. You seek to overcome racism, xenophobia, intolerance, and violence.
That's correct.
Do you believe? Oh, let me ask this first. You are a Muslim, right?
That's correct.
Muslims are trained from day one to lie to the infidels, to the Jews and to the infidels, the Christians. And they lie and they're comfortable. They have no guilt in lying in order to deceive the infidels. How can we know to trust and believe what you're saying as a Muslim when you're taught to lie without guilt and in order to deceive?
Jesse, I was on your show 6 years ago, and you asked me that exact same question, and I gave you a detailed answer. I'll give that same answer as well. This myth that the Islam teaches Muslims to lie was concocted by anti-Muslim bigots and Islamophobes who have no shred of decency or a sense of Islamic scholarship whatsoever.
It's in the
The
Quran.
Quran, it's not in the Quran at all. In fact, there's not a single permission in the Quran to lie. In fact, the Quran is so clear. In chapter 4, it tells Muslims that you must hold fast to truth and justice, even if it is against yourself, if it is against your parents, against somebody rich or poor. And that if you hide the truth or evade it, then God will hold you accountable for that lie. So not only is there no permission to lie, but the Quran goes further and says that you can't even evade the truth. And even if you have to testify against yourself, you absolutely must. See, Jesse,
But
you
how
are a
about
man of faith. Jesse, let me finish answering your question. You are a man of faith, and I believe you when you say that you believe in the words that Jesus Christ taught. Jesus Christ taught to speak truth no matter what. And as Muslims, we believe in Jesus Christ as well, that he taught to speak truth no matter what. When you tell your followers that Muslims are commanded to lie, you are actually telling a lie to your followers. As a person of faith, as a fellow person of faith, I implore you, stop telling your followers this. It's not true.
how
At a
about
time
in
of rising
Muhammad's
anti-Muslim hate
writing?
crimes, especially, it's inappropriate at best to perpetuate this lie.
How about in Muhammad's writing? He writes that you can deceive the infidels, you can befriend them in order to destroy them. And the infidels in the Muslim mind, Muhammad mind, and most Muslims are the Jews and the Christians. Do you agree with Muhammad in his writings that you can lie and deceive and trick the infidels?
Prophet Muhammad was unlettered. He could neither read nor write. So whatever you're attributing to him is also a lie.
Amazing.
Prophet Muhammad said no such thing.
But see,
What
you're
he
not
did
being
say,
honest now.
I'm sorry?
You're not telling the truth right now.
I'm being completely honest. Prophet Muhammad could neither read nor write. He never wrote anything.
But in
So,
his writings, he does tell you guys to deceive
Jesse,
the
he couldn't
infidels.
write. He had no writings.
Well, whomever wrote for him or whatever.
Okay, so somebody else magically wrote something, and now it's the fault of Prophet Muhammad. Let me tell you what Prophet Muhammad actually taught. And this is something that no other religion teaches. The Quran in chapter 22, verse 40 to 41 tells Muslims that if a church or a synagogue or a temple is attacked, you as a Muslim must fight to defend the church and synagogue and temple. And you must, when it talks about killing the infidel, it's talking about killing those people who are attacking churches, who are attacking synagogues. And the Prophet Muhammad dictated a letter to the Christians of the monastery at Mount Sinai, who at St. Catherine's Monastery. They asked him, what would be our condition if you become our ruler? And that letter survives to this day that the Prophet dictated. And that letter says that Christians are my citizens, and anyone who harms the Christians are against the Muslims.
I'm not falling for that. I'm not believing in that. Not at all.
I can send you the letter right now. I mean, that's not even it's not my opinion. This is documented fact.
Do you believe that, do Muslims, including you, believe that Jesus is the Son of God?
See, now we're talking about religious interpretation.
You say you believe in Jesus, so that's why I brought it to my mind.
No, I'm glad you brought it up.
Do you believe he is the Son of God? Yes or no?
Yes, in the same sense that Israel is the son of God, that David is called God's firstborn son. The angels are called the sons of God. The Bible refers to many different personalities as the Son of God. And in that respect, because Jesus was a pure, sinless prophet born from the Virgin Mary, and the Quran attests to all this stuff, we believe that, in fact, he is the spiritual Son of God.
So you do believe then that Jesus is the only begotten Son of God, right?
No, the Bible doesn't say that. The Bible says that the Bible says David is God's firstborn, and says that Israel is the begotten Son of God. And so you have to look at your Bible, my brother. The Bible repeatedly calls other entities and beings the Son of God, the only begotten Son of God as well.
So is that a no, that you do not believe that Jesus is the only begotten Son of God? Is that a no? You don't believe that?
Well, I follow the Bible. So the Bible says no, so I follow the Bible. And yes, Jesus, according to the Bible, is not the only begotten Son of God.
Amazing. Do you believe, you write about racism and all that stuff, do you believe there's such a thing as white supremacy?
Is the KKK your bedfellow? I mean, yes, they're white supremacists, of course.
And so you believe that the KKK is white supremacy, is a white supremacy group?
The KKK calls themselves white supremacists. Same with neo-Nazis.
So you believe that they are?
I believe the KKK when they claim that they're white supremacists, yes.
And so you believe that they're superior to you?
No, I believe that they are human beings, and I believe they're sorely mistaken, and they're ignorant, and they're terrorists. But no, I do not believe they're superior to me.
I read that you support Black Lives Matter. Is that true?
I support racial equality, yes. And Black Lives Matter is an organization that is dedicated to protecting racial equality, and I support the equality of all humanity.
So yes. You support Black Lives Matter, the organization Black Lives Matter?
I support the work for racial equality, yes.
I'm asking, do you support the organization Black Lives Matter?
I support their work for racial equality, yes.
That's not what I'm asking you.
I'm not, well, Jesse, you're asking me if I'm a member of Black Lives Matter, whether I've contributed to them or whether I'm on their organizational staff. I don't speak for them.
Do you support the KKK?
What I do say is that I support the work of Black Lives Matter to promote racial equality and justice in America. Absolutely.
Do you support the KKK?
Absolutely not. They're terrorist organizations. Why would I support a terrorist organization? Do you support the KKK, Jesse?
Let me tell you this. For the record, in John 3:16, it says Jesus is God's only begotten Son. So you may want to check that out later.
Well,
but let me ask,
but then also in Psalms, it also says that David is the firstborn son of God. So you may want to check your references too.
Black Lives Matter is a far-left, liberal, radical organization that was founded by black lesbians and black homosexuals and radical social justice warrior, white social justice warrior, who are worse than
doesn't help, right?
They are worse than the KKK. Why would you support Black Lives Matter but not the KKK?
The KKK has killed, lynched, and raped people for 150 years. That you support them, Jesse, is very disturbing. And by the way, Psalms 89:27 says that God will appoint David to be his firstborn the most exalted king of the earth. So you may want to check your Bible, brother.
I never said that I supported the KKK.
Good. We're in agreement
But
then.
what I said to you, you support Black Lives Matter, and Black Lives Matter is an organization that was founded by black lesbians and black radical homosexuals and radical white social justice warriors, and they are worse than the KKK. And my point is, and Muslims don't even like homosexuals. I don't know why you would support black homosexuals. Do you agree with homosexuality?
Let me unpack everything you just said right there.
I know, but do that.
The KKK,
Answer that first.
No. I mean,
Answer that first.
You imputed a lot of things to me, Jesse, and I got to clarify.
No, I
this.
just have to clear up that I do not support the KKK. But do you support
good.
homosexuality?
No, Islam follows the Abrahamic tradition regarding homosexuality. But
what
that
is the
said,
tradition?
I
What
don't
is the
support
tradition that
these
Islam?
very offensive. I don't support these very offensive
Qasim,
comments that you've made about the LGBT community.
What is
These are not only offensive and derogatory, but at a time when there's
what does
increasing hate
Islam
crimes
say
against the
about
LGBT community?
what does
for you to make these
Islam
kinds of
say
comments,
about
Jesse,
what does
is very-
Islam say about homosexuality? What does Islam say about homosexuality?
Well, unlike the Bible that teaches death to people who are gay, Islam doesn't teach that at all. Islam does not support it, but it also condemns any kind of violence and persecution and homophobia and bigotry.
You're not telling me what does it say.
I just told you that unlike the Bible, which teaches death for homosexuality, Islam prescribes no punishment for someone because they're gay. It
What does
disagrees
it
with
say about
but it does not permit any kind of crime or violence or bigotry or hatred or homophobia.
What does it say about
against someone because they're gay?
What does it say about homosexuality exactly? What does it say?
I just told you for the third time, Jesse, unlike the Bible, which teaches death for homosexuals, the Quran says that it is not something that God approves of, but it also condemns any kind of violence or persecution or bigotry or
Why
homophobia.
is it that God does not? Why is it that God does not approve? Your God does not approve of homosexuality.
Well, the God of Abraham is the God that I follow, and Islam teaches that the family structure is a critical component of society, and that marriage between men and women is a critical component of society. And so, to that extent, when somebody makes that choice, that lifestyle choice, it's ultimately between them and God, and no person has the right to interfere.
Does your God say that is wrong? Does your God say that homosexuality is wrong? The Muslim God. Does the Muslim God say that homosexuality is wrong?
Jesse, first of all, the Muslim God, Allah, is Jehovah, is Yahweh. So it's the same God.
Does it say that homosexuality is wrong?
I've asked this question 3 times now, Jesse, but for you to claim that an organization like Black Lives Matter that teaches racial equality is worse than a white supremacist so-called Christian terrorist organization that has mass murdered thousands of black people is not only offensive and ignorant, but unbecoming of any rational thought.
You're not answering my question. You evaded the question. Does your God say that homosexuality is wrong?
I've answered this question 3 times now, Jesse.
No,
and you can go back
you've gone around the question. You've not answered the question.
No, I've answered it 3 times. I'll answer it a 4th time. I'll answer this question a 4th time just for you, Jesse, and this is the last time. Unlike the Bible, which
you're not answering the question. Let's move on because of time. You're not answering the question.
Well, if you let me finish and stop interrupting me, Jesse,
I want to move on to something else.
Unlike the Bible, which teaches death to homosexuality, the Quran teaches no such thing. It does not support homosexuality. The Quran, which is revealed by God, does not support homosexuality, but at the same time, it does not support any form of violence or discrimination or persecution. If someone is a member of the LGBT community, they must be allowed to live their life.
I got it. But let me ask this.
Bigotry
if
or
it's
discrimination or hatred. And I condemn anyone who creates that kind of hatred towards the LGBT community, which is what you're doing right now.
That sounds good. Let me ask you this. If what you're saying is true about Islam, why is it that we see Muslims throwing homosexuals from rooftops and killing them and just in brutal ways, but we don't see it from Christianity? Why do we see it from your religion but not my religion?
Well, let's slow down a second. There are extremists among Muslims who are doing these horrific acts. There's no doubt about it. But what you are seeing here is in America, there's literally a hate crime law named after the lynching of a gay man in the United States, in Montana.
No,
And
you're
this was done
deviating.
by-
Why do we see destruction from Muslim toward homosexuals, but we don't see it from Christians?
Well,
if
again,
your God is not teaching them that homosexuality is wrong.
Jesse, I think maybe the connection is bad because I just answered that question and you didn't hear me. So let me answer it again. Yes, there are some Muslim extremists who commit horrific acts against people because they're gay. And those extremists do so of their own accord. There's nothing in the Quran that permits even a remote level of violence against people who are
That's
gay in
not
any
true.
capacity whatsoever.
Not true.
Jesse, do you want me to answer the question or do you want me
But
to
you're
tell
not
me what I
telling the
believe?
truth. I told
No,
you
well,
that
no, no.
Muslims
Hold on.
are
This is how
taught
it
to
works, Jesse.
lie.
Jesse, this is how it works.
Muslims are
You
taught
ask me
to
a
lie,
question,
and you lied to
Jesse,
us.
Jesse, here's how it works. You ask me a question.
Why are you lying
and
to
I
us?
answer that question, and then you respond to my answer.
Why
If you're
are
gonna
you
interrupt me-
lying to us? You're lying.
See, if you're going to interrupt me like a child every single time, there's no point in having this conversation. So I need
have
you to
to
stop.
you because you're lying.
Well, I need you to stop being a child and let me answer the question. And what I'm trying to tell you, Jesse, is that unlike the Bible, which teaches death to gays, the Quran
Why are
says
you
no such
attacking
thing.
the Bible? You keep
Attack
attacking the Bible. You are.
deny.
You
deny
keep
that the Bible
attacking
says
the Bible. Why
that-
are you attacking the Bible because you're a Muslim?
No, I'm stating
Why do
a fact.
you've been
that-
attacking the Bible this whole interview?
Jesse, are you denying that Leviticus says to kill
No,
gays?
why are you attacking the
Are you
Bible?
denying that, Jesse?
Why are you attacking the Bible?
Jesse,
And when I tell you the
read
truth
Bible
about the
every single day
Quran,
because I believe Jesus Christ
when
is
I
the true
tell you the
prophet.
truth about the Quran, you deny it,
Jesse,
but you
you're not
attack
answering
the
my question.
Bible.
You deny the Bible says death to gays?
You
There's no
attack. You
problem
can't
with that.
attack the Bible. That's
You can't
wrong.
have a conversation. You're not going to let me answer your questions, my friend.
I
It
don't
doesn't work
want
this
you.
way.
You cannot attack the Bible. Attack the
I'm not attacking the
Quran
Bible.
and not
in
the
fact,
Bible.
I believe the Bible is true.
No, you
and I'm
don't.
trying to
You
tell
don't. That's a
that
lie.
Leviticus is clear that
Thank you for coming on, man. I
teaches
appreciate it.
kill gays. I'm not sure how you're going to deny
Thank you
that,
for coming on.
Jesse.
I appreciate it.
You
All
deny
right.
your own Bible.
Goodbye. Thank you. I appreciate it, man.